song this was? Anybody? Yeah. Circle of Life. I love it. Okay. Who votes for me playing that in the background? I'm gonna read to you from this book a short period of time. You want me to play that in the background? Yes? Thumbs up if you like that. All right. So the book that I have, it's called Pass the Energy, Please. So let's take a look up here. I'll walk back to you guys too. Take a look. I want you to think about, what do you think this is about? Just think in your head. It's called Pass the Energy, Please, okay? I'm going to read you the opening poem. It's got a bunch of animals on it. Can everybody see that back there? All right. Food manufacturing starts with a seed, and energy waits in a plant to be freed. Like an engine that powers the rest of a train. Choo-choo. A plant's the first link in an energy chain. Okay. So right now, what I want you to do, very quickly, I'll give you a minute. I want you to get out a scrap piece of paper, and I want you to write down 1 to 2 sentences of what you think either has happened in this book, okay? What you think this book is about. Take a look at it. And I want you to discuss as a group what you think this might be. We'll just go through the groups. What do you think it is?
We all have different.
Okay, so just give me one. What do you think? Yes. A hairball. Good, okay. Okay, I like a hairball, owl pellets. What else?
I have a question. Is owl pellets and owl dung the same thing?
We'll get to that in a second. What is your guys' hypothesis?
Well, it's obviously not dung.
You were thinking it was dung. Okay, poop, so owl poop. And do we go? What else?
Very eloquently
Owl
put.
pellet, what else? It's what? Regurgitate. Wow, you guys are really smart scientists. You've already had pieces that have started to fall off. So once you start lightly picking apart your owl pellet, you're going to want to do it really light, because otherwise you're going to do what? Break the bones. Good. And we don't want to do that, because what we're actually going to end up doing is constructing, which you'll have one of these in your kit, a little rodent skeleton. I'm going to walk around now. I'm going to make sure you have your materials list checked off. I'm also going to make sure that you have the first top part of your worksheet filled out. There's something funny. Well, you can at least tell what is that. Yeah, we know what that is. What is that? No, what else is in there? What is that? Well, yeah, look at it. Is that gray? No, I'm saying fur. You said fur. But think about different animals with different colors, right?
Is there colors of fur on there?
There's not, but you can maybe think from the easiest one here, red mouse, right? Okay. This is an example of a food chain, 2 food chains, and a food web, because they're 2 different things. Okay, we'll get to that point in a second. But food chain. So we've got 1 food chain here and 1 food chain here. Can you guys tell me what main source of the start of a food chain is? The big guy. Yes.
Plants.
Okay, plants. What helps? There's something above that. There's something that starts this whole cycle. The sun. Good. He's like, hey, Miss Steve, over here. The sun. Good. So I should have put a big picture of a sun up here. Is what I'm telling you. Okay. And then that helps to create what? The plants or whatever it might be. And then underneath that, there's these guys that eat plants. What are those called? What are they called? Herbivores. Herbivores. Good. An easy way for me to remember that is like when you grow herbs in a garden to use in your food. Herbivores. So they eat plants. Okay. Next, what are these guys down here then? If these guys eat these guys, what did I hear?
Carnivores.
Carnivores, which is what?
Meat eater.
Meat eater. Good. I'm missing one. Do you remember what I'm missing? I heard it.
Omnivore.
Omnivore. Can someone tell me what an omnivore is? If we've already talked about things that eat plants and other animals. Looking at this, what's the difference between a food chain and a food web? Can anyone tell me the difference? Tyler?
Chain is more like this. A web is more like a visual, like food too.
Okay, they both eat. Somebody's eating something. Oh my god. Yes.
Okay, a food chain is like, it starts off with something, goes around, and then it ends with that one thing. And then a food web is like, it starts off with like the biggest predators, and then it goes down to like.
Ah.
What we're going to do next is we are going to create as a group, well you guys as your own group are going to create a food chain involving whatever animal that you figured out off of your chart, okay? So for instance, if it was a rat, you're going to have that in your food chain with what else? And a plant, and what else?
Sun.
What were the, whoa, okay, good, sun. Oh, good, I like it, the owl, because they're called owl pellets, right? So those, one of you as a group are going to get a separate scenario. It's on a piece of paper, you're going to read that scenario, and I want you to be able to report back to the class how that specific scenario of how humans affect the environment. So say there's a farmer, owls are actually a farmer's friend because they eat the little varmints that eat all of their crops. So farmers like the owls are actually around, that's a good thing. So, but if a farmer is spraying all this pesticide on there to kind of help the owl out by, you know, killing off these rodents, that owl is eating those animals, right, that may or may not have those pesticides in their system. And if it eats too much, what do you think is going to happen to the owl? It's going to die, right? So how would that affect the food chain? If
A local farmer decides to stop growing crops and starts a dairy farm instead.
So how did that affect your food chain?
Well, when he stopped growing food, it started killing off mice, and with no mice, that started killing owls, but it left the cows, and coyotes eat cows.